Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully, you guys are having a great Tuesday, the beginning of the week. Unfortunately, it's only Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday today, like all day. Pretty much the whole day. You're at work, Summer? I figured you may be at work. I wasn't sure if there'd be a lot of people on or not around this time, but I figured, you know what, maybe people need a little break from the Letitia Stout trial, because I know I needed a break from listening to it. It was getting crazy. Al's on the stand right now, the ex-husband, and I like how he keeps referring to her as, if you guys haven't been watching it, he's been referring to her as the defendant. And I love that. He actually called her Letitia, and he went, sorry, I meant the defendant. Yeah. Driving home from court. Tracy, you got a new emoji. I don't know what those are called, but you know what I mean. I think that's so pretty. I wish I could read what your butterfly says, but I bet it says something inspirational. I bet it does. Yeah, Teresa, keep those eyes on the road, Isabel said. Since Isabel can't talk to you, I'll talk to you through her, or she could talk through me. So thank you guys for joining me today. We'll see if maybe some more people will come in. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button, let me hit it on my own video, because sometimes that just helps get people in here. Scorpelina, are you really from Ohio? I didn't know that. How are you? Your flowers don't look that good and you live in Ohio. Really? I thought you lived somewhere out west. For some reason, I thought you lived in Ohio, and then when I saw your pictures of your flowers, I was like, no, she's got to live out west. Those are beautiful. Oh, wow. Then, yeah, I need some tips from you. Whenever I get a home, I don't want to plant flowers here. We have the gardening people. They make it look pretty for now. Well, they try to, so. So what's everybody? Oh, those are past pics, but they're still going to look beautiful though. When they start blooming. I think I'm allergic to these bad boys back here, which, I don't know if you can see them. Move them over a little bit. Oh, it's where I think it's where I have the camera or something. There we go. We'll just move the camera over a little bit. There we go. I was moving stuff earlier, so hopefully it looks okay. So your pictures are so pretty. She sent us pictures. She sent them to me, and I showed them to you guys. But of her flower beds. And when I go to California every year, that's like my favorite part about California is taking pictures of all the flowers, because even though they have zero water there normally, they have beautiful flowers and plants, like dry plants and stuff. It's just different. I don't know. But I do love Ohio. It's a lot greener. If you could put the green out there, then it'd be perfect. But it's just too brown out there for me. So we are going to be talking about Brent Lehrkamp. If you guys haven't watched our previous live on him, I will give you guys an update or, a little backstory on what's going on. Oh, Eddie said he's late, but that's okay. You're here. And who else do we have up here? I saw Parker Marie was in here. Isabel, of course, she's here. That's my girl. And Summer's at work. I thought I saw someone up at the top, but I think I got everybody. Oh, I like it when it's a small group too. It's fine either way. I wanted to come on earlier because I figured I could come on later, and I might come on later still, but you never know with me. I figured I'd come on earlier. So this happened to this boy. This is Brent. Brent. Who the heck is Brent? Is it Monday? Trent. I don't even know a Brent. So Trent, I do know a Trent though. So this happened in Georgia on March 21st. To give you a little bit of a backstory, in case you're unfamiliar with this poor boy's case. When I talk about a new case, I usually will go over the victim's backstory, kind of. I'll tell you things about what they liked, and it makes them excited about things, what their favorite color is. In this case, I don't have that, unfortunately. All we have are the things, unfortunately, that Trent doesn't like. We know what he doesn't like, but we don't know what he likes. So hopefully we'll get to know him a little better that way. I know, doesn't he just look he's so sweet and innocent. He does. He's stinking cute. Cheers 420. Oh, it's past that on my watch now. But oh yeah, I think he's adorable. And I have some more stuff that came out too that's newer and I don't know, it's just some weird stuff that's going on. But Trent Lehrkamp here, he is 19 years old. He was forced to drink. So he went to a friend's house, who he thought was a friend. He went there and he was forced to drink vodka and take mushrooms, and not the kind your mama makes, the magic kind. This was done forcefully this had anywhere between 4 and 11 people at the time. They were teenagers, but I don't consider them teenagers. I consider them adults, because if they're an adult enough to do this to a person, then they're adult to be called adult. Most of them are around 17 anyway, 17, 18. So they're going right into adulthood very well. Hello, Fred. I saw that you said you were present, and I love that. And hey, Glowbug, if I could say that right. So they did this. So they did this to him by duct taping him, like his head pretty much, to the chair, to where he couldn't get up, and he ends up losing consciousness because they are pouring alcohol down his throat and making him take all this psychedelics. After losing consciousness, 3 teens decided, hey, we better take him to the emergency room so we don't get in trouble. Or, hey, he's going to die, so maybe we should drop him off the emergency room. I don't know what they were thinking, but they just dropped him off. After they made him drink the alcohol and take the mushrooms, they defecated on him. They urinated on him. They spray painted him. I think they even threw like condiments on him of some sort, like ketchup, mustard condiments or something I was hearing. I mean, it was like, if you could do it to this kid, it was done almost, for the most part. You're about to go shopping, Eddie? Well, make sure you buy me something. Shoot, I love to shop. Actually, I don't shop as much as I used to, but I do love to shop. Let me get my notes here. So he ended up going into ICU after they dropped him off at the hospital. The teens left. So the teens dropped, Trent off here, and they peaced out. Their families are very wealthy and very well-to-do in the community. And I feel like these kids think that they're not going to get in any trouble for what they did to him. I'll refer my dispensary. That's the best place to go. Really. They're so nice there. They're always nice at the dispensaries. You ever notice that? If you go to a dispensary, you'll know. Even if somebody can't get what they need, like they'll go in for their medical or whatever, and if there's something's like expired or whatever, they're always cool about it. Well, no, this is expired, and they'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool, man. And they're just like, bye, So why him, Fred? There's no reasoning behind it. It was like he was the weakest link. You know what I mean? Like he had just lost his mother. He thought these boys were his friends. So before I'll show you the picture again of him, and there's a video of them because they did this prior. So this isn't the first time that they did this. Let me see my notes here. Yeah, the first time that they did this to him, they got him intoxicated and they sprayed WD-40 all over him. He had a gash above his eye when he went home, and he was painted on. And in the video, you'll see that they were spraying him down with like a hose. I just don't know what's wrong with people. So people do ask, though, like, why did he go back? Why do he keep going back? If that happened to him the first time, why did he go back the second time? I think he really just went back because he thought they were his friends. I think that he lost his mom. And that'll do something to you at any age. I mean, I couldn't imagine have been maybe in 19 and losing my mom. I think that he just was looking for friends, and he thought that they were going to be nice to him, and they weren't. So I have the video of them spraying him down, which I think is so bad. And look at the people in the background. And I'll show you a picture of it when I'm done too. You'll see a group standing behind him. I didn't notice this in our last live. They're literally standing right behind him, and they're just turned the other way. Like they're in a circle just talking. Like it's nothing. Like it was like another day in the freaking neighborhood, as Mr. Rogers would say. So let me pull this up for you guys. And it's only like a 9-second clip, so I'll try to play it a couple times.
All right. Yeah, get the back of his head. This is dude perfect. And we're watching off.
Oh, wait. Oh. Sorry, I kicked myself out. I kicked myself out of the studio instead of doing this. Instead of trying to go back on this, like on the video, I went back on my end. So I was like, whoops. I think this isn't the same one. See, yeah, they switched the video so fast, it's hard to like see it. So, okay. So I'll play it one more time.
All right. Yeah, get the back of his head. This is dude perfect. And we're watching off.
Yeah, so they thought that was like the funniest thing. I couldn't find the video where the kid shows his face because I'll show all their faces. I have no shame in this game. If they're adult enough to act like they could be doing this crap, then they're adult enough to have their faces be shown. Just got out of my caving trip. Oh, spent 7 hours down there today. Oh my gosh, yeah. In a cave out 7 hours. Man. I forget what it feels like to work outside the home. It's different. I think I would probably die if I had to go back. I worked like that for 20 years. I don't know. Yeah. Who's recording this shit? Exactly. And whose parents' house are they at? These are 16, 17-year-old boys and girls, or whatever, they're boys and girls. And yeah, where's the parents? Even if dad or mom is sitting in the living room watching TV, sipping something to drink, they still got to hear 50 kids in their backyard screaming, hollering, laughing. What about the water bill? My uncle, I shit you not, he would have been able to tell by that damn water bill. And they had a pool. He would have been, he'd have been like, oh, no, water bill's too high. What were you guys using the hose for? Walking around with your hands in your pockets. Yeah, like nothing's going on. Like it's just another day. Like, yeah, look at this kid. I'll share this tab because this is like, share this with you instead. See, like the person with the pink, like, beanie on and her friends, they're just like, the other guy, he's looking like, what's this going on? But like, yeah. And doesn't it look like almost something like on his head? Let me see if I can zoom in a little more. Yeah. Oops. Like it almost looks like there's something over his head. What? You have 14 inches of clearance. You have to crawl for 205 feet. Nope. Count me out, Ashley. We have 7 caves. I think that's what it's called around here. My dad took me there once as a kid. But yeah, I feel so bad for this guy. There's no need for this. So then we all know what happened to him to get him into the hospital. So I'm going to show that picture one more time. I'm only going to show it for a minute. And then I'm not going to show it anymore. So this is the night that he went into the hospital, and this is what these kids did to him. And they're all like holding up like gang sign. Like this guy in the back of him is like, he's like holding up a gang sign. I don't even know what that is. And then this, of course, is the picture that we've been seeing going around when he was in the hospital. Now, what pisses me off, and that's why I don't like to leave that other picture up long. I didn't put it on a thumbnail. I've only shown it twice. I don't even want to show it that many times. And I'll probably never show it again. But they're blurring out his face in this hospital picture, but they won't blur out that shit, like all that stuff on him and like that whole picture. They won't blur that out. But you know what I mean? But let those kids see what they did to him. Let them kids look at online and see what they did to him. Like, I know that it's graphic, but I mean, if we're gonna watch him sing it with defecation in his lap, like someone, you know, then I think that should, yeah, they should. Yeah, we're just getting started. When it comes to kids, it's just, it really just freaking makes me mad. That's why I had to take a break from Letitia's Stout trial. Just watching her over in the corner, could barely see her, but seeing what you could see, and then hearing Al on the stand, I was just like, oh, this is bad. You know, it's just heartbreaking. Hear that? Sound like a motorcycle, but a really bad one. So this is Trent. But this was Trent around the 21st, 22nd. I'm not sure. This happened to him on the 21st, 22nd. So this was around the end of the month, I think, actually. And then now he's starting to look a lot better. Starting to look real good. Now, where are the kids' moms and dads? Parents. Like we talked about on the first live, the one kid, I'll have to show you, I'll have to pull up his picture. I'm sure it's on Twitter under Brett Buffington's tab. But the kid, he was in jail and his mom said he had a drinking problem. Well, he's like 16 years old. How do you have a drinking problem at 16 years old, you ask me? You don't even probably have a job to get money. And who's buying the booze? Here he is. Let me see. Where'd it go? Where does picture go? Well, let me see if it'll. There we go. This is the kid. He just looks like a badass kid. He just looks like he's not going anywhere good, and he's not getting there anytime soon. Mountain Mama said, I guarantee you if that was one of mine that done something like that to another kid, they would be praying for law enforcement to get them because I would be on them like ugly on Donald Trump. Yeah, no, I'm this. I don't even know where people act like this. What? Like this is beyond bullying and beyond hazing and beyond anything I've ever seen. This is downright torture. This is downright torture to me. But it is starting to hit more news medias, like mainstream media, which is good. And I have these, a couple of these are from a couple of days ago. And then I have like some new updates too. So, and they do not want Brett Buffington in that town. Let me tell you what, I believe that it was the police chief. No, it wasn't police chief. It was someone that I think that does the news. And I'll show it to you too, the post. I had it up, but then I started scrolling down. But yeah, they pretty much like want him out of the town. They're saying that he's not reporting the news right, but he's only talking to Trent and his family. So how's he doing anything? Yeah, put him in a cell with Fucci. That'd be great. They would be good together. They would be good together. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this for you guys here.
New details tonight regarding the home where 19-year-old Trent Lehrkamp was allegedly hazed before being dropped off at the hospital unconscious, fighting for his life. We're learning the Glynn County Police executed a search warrant at the house where they believe the horrific attacks occurred the same night the team was dropped off at the hospital. We're also learning that officers were called to that home 10 times since August, 10 times. But dispatch records analyzed by the investigative unit of our News Nation affiliate WSAV found only 2 calls. One was a 911 hang-up, and the other was third-party information days after Trent ended up in the hospital. So something's really not adding up here. At a party on March 21st, Trent was forced to binge on vodka and magic mushrooms by so-called friends. They allegedly not only covered him in spray paint, but also urinated on him. He was dropped off at the hospital where he was left fighting for his life, and at one point he was on a ventilator. The Daily Mail obtained a police report from another incident involving Trent and that same group that landed him in the ER in need of several stitches in the head. In fact, he had been hazed by that group at least twice before over the past month, and it seems like this is not an isolated event and rather a pattern of bad behavior by a group of young individuals. The incident report reads, Trent came home with a severe laceration above his left eye that required stitches. In the document, Trent's father went on to say that his son came home covered in WD-40, vomit, paint, glue, and egg yolk. The father telling officers that Trent, quote, never returns home normal. Glynn County Schools, where the victim recently graduated, has finally spoken out about the matter, saying, quote, we are aware of the allegations of an off-campus incident that involved several of our former and current students. The statement goes on to say, it is our common practice to follow Georgia Department of Education law that states students may be disciplined for conduct off campus, which could result in the student being criminally charged and which makes the student's continued presence at school a potential danger to persons or property at the school or which disrupts the educational process. But no arrests have been made more than a week after the incident. As we get further from the day of the attack, the calls for action get louder. A Justice for Trent rally is set for tomorrow at Neptune Park near the St. Simons Island Pier. Here with more is Brett Buffington, lead investigative reporter for our News Nation affiliate in Savannah. Brett, it's good to see you. So Glynn County Police, they've been to the home where one of the attacks happened 10 times in the last several months. And when you get the dispatch records, you only see these two calls. It's weird. What's going on?
Yeah, Jesse, certainly a lot of things in this case not adding up, at least for that. We asked two different ways for the CAD dispatch records for that home. In fact, we asked for the records for every house on that street. And in the time frame of 1 year, we could only find those two calls. Now, the police did say at a press conference on Wednesday they'd been to that home 10 times, including a few times after. They said just checking on the house. We don't exactly know what that means. But I can't tell you, I talked with the police chief, Odell Jackson here, at this pier behind me yesterday. Jesse, he said he wants to make sure that when his investigators give a case to the district attorney takes that case to trial. It's not one that falls apart. That's what he said when I asked him, why is this taking so long? Of course, people like you in this audience, they've seen that picture, they've seen that video, and they are outraged. They want to know, you see it right there, why can't you charge people off the video?
Do you know if they've had a follow-up interview with Trent yet? I mean, do we have any idea of how he's doing right now?
So this is an important question, and one that I asked the chief yesterday, and he told me that he is still working, the investigators here are still working to get that follow-up interview. I can tell you good news, he's out of the ICU. He is recovering, at least from the physical injuries, but you have to think of the emotional damage that this kind of incident, this attack, could cause on someone and what he's going through trying to recover from that.
You're on the ground right now. What is the feeling like? What's the sentiment like in Georgia? I mean, what are people saying? I know they want to go to his rally tomorrow. What are people saying who want to support this and want action and justice?
You know, there's a lot of people here in this community who feel this was going to be swept under the rug until Saturday when those videos leaked. This happened on Tuesday. We've now learned that just after it happened, police served a search warrant at this house. We learned that just today. So there's a lot of details in this case that people are like, why didn't we learn about this? In fact, some county commissioners here questioning why they didn't know about it until it came out in the media. We started reporting on this on Sunday. We've been here in Glynn County, in Brunswick, trying to gather details since Sunday. And there's still a lot of questions here in this investigation that aren't answered, and a lot of people here still asking.
Brett Buffington, the work that you're doing on this is incredible. I'm glad that you're shedding some more light on it, and hopefully we'll get more answers sooner rather than later. Brett Buffington, thank you so much.
Thank you for
Let me write something down really quick because I want to tell you guys this and I don't want to forget. Okay. Teresa, you keep freaking me out with your new little thing. Every time I look over, I'm like, who is that? It's so pretty and blue. Yeah, how do you plead not guilty when you're on video? Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, it's on video. She can share us all with her son, save some money for the state. I'm all about saving the money, for the state. They can, and then all the kids, especially the 4 that were in the picture with Trent, they can all share a little cell too and duke it out. Put one bed in there. They can duke it out for who gets to sleep on the bed. Just because Trent is better. does not mean the police should stop investigating. These boys should be punished. You're absolutely right. And that's why we are still covering this story, and we are not going to stop covering it until these boys get some justice. And the guy that was just talking, not Dan Abrams, I do love him though, but Brett Buffington, he has been there since like it happened, since it like came out. So he's been there, and he's not leaving. He's getting threats and everything. Like this guy, and I'm going to show you on his Twitter, like it's insane that these people feel like entitled. It's almost like the Kylie Rodney case. You know, Truckee, they didn't want anybody to come into their circle. They didn't want anybody in their like, you know, their little town. It's just, it feels like that. It feels like another, like almost another like Kylie Rodney situation when it comes to that part, or even like an Alec Murdaugh, where kids feel entitled and they can just do whatever the hell they want to do. So, yes, Fred, justice for Carly too. You're right. I was going to show you. And then that's what I was going to tell you. They were talking about on the video how the school can expel or suspend a student if they do something outside of the school grounds, if it could cause immediate danger for the students or danger for the students inside the school. Check. If I was that principal or the superintendent of the school, I would already have been like, you're expelled for the rest of the year. I don't want you on my school property. You might want to go somewhere else to go to school. That's just me. That's just me. I wouldn't want those kind of kids on my school grounds to teach other kids how to be bad or to do this to other kids or maybe those kids are the popular kids in school, so maybe they will have some sort of like say in what other kids think. You just don't want that for your other, you know, if I had a child in that school, I wouldn't want my children to be taught with those people, you know? Sorry, I forgot I had my fan on. That was probably noisy back here. So let me go to the next video. But yeah, I can't believe they wouldn't at least start doing that. I think they should do a lot more than that, but start with something.
That they would be willing maybe.
Now to continuing coverage of a story that angered and saddened many of you. A 19-year-old allegedly forced to drink alcohol, tortured, then dropped off at a Brunswick hospital unconscious. Tonight, that teenager, Trent Lehrkamp, is still in the hospital, and police are looking into reports that a group of Glenn County teenagers is behind the attack. Meanwhile, the community coming together in support of Lehrkamp. WSAV's lead investigative reporter Brett Buffington is joining us live now from St. Simon's Island with what's been done to honor Trent. So Brett, first off, how is he doing?
Tina, we've learned in the past few days that Trent is recovering well from the physical injuries, but still has a long way to go with the emotional scarring that this has caused. I did talk with his sister earlier today. She told me that they would be willing maybe to talk with us on camera sometime next week. But right now, they're still dealing with the effects of social media and posts online spreading disinformation about their family. While that's happening, police also dealing with the same thing as they're trying to continue their case here. We learned today that investigators have served a search warrant at the home here on St. Simon's Island where they believe these attacks happened. Of course, we've already learned this week that police have taken cell phones from the 9 teens and the 11 teens in 2 different instances. We know they've recovered cell phones from at least some of those teenagers involved, Tina. And of course, the family here hoping to see justice in this case. The police chief here in Glenn County saying the family is fully supporting their investigation.
Brett, any idea about when or even if we can see an arrest in this case?
So I talked with the police chief here, O'Neill Jackson, at this pier yesterday, just after we got done with the 6 o'clock news. And he told me what he certainly doesn't want to do is present a case to the DA, a case that goes to trial and then falls apart because investigators didn't do the work up front. He says his people are working on this case. They are working hard to collect information from those cell phones. But I can tell you from reporting in other cases, that does take time to get the information off the phone and be able to analyze it, if you will. They're working on that now. The police chief, I talked with him today at a luncheon, just very briefly. I asked him if there was an update, and he says, not one I can share right now.
All right, Brett Buffington, thank you. You can take a look at the police documents from Trent's attack online. at wsav.com/Lehrkamp.
Okay, yeah, that one was a little bit older of one. But I wanted to play these ones for you. These ones are just like a day old. But they even had a march for him. This lady like rallied it together. And I'm like, I was excited for her. I was happy to see her coming in hot because she had a loud mouth like me. And she was ready to get his voice out there and his name out there and, you know, his voice heard. So I was going to play a video of when they went to they did like a march through the town. It was a Justice for Trent rally. And it was downtown St. Simons Island. So that's where all these kids are from too. It's a very nice area.
Take it in.
Trent Lehrkamp, the victim of an abuse case at a party in Glenn County, is still in the hospital after he was dropped off barely breathing. Dozens of community members came together for his rally this afternoon to support him. On your side, Zach Wilcox takes a look at their actions.
I think that it should make some type of statement that they actually take it into consideration.
Julie Thomas walked several blocks, Justice for Trent sign in hand, in an effort to make that statement. She was surrounded by a few dozen protesters, bringing attention to the abuse a 19-year-old suffered over the past few weeks. After seeing the video of Trent Lehrkamp getting hosed down while slumped in a chair and the picture of Lehrkamp covered in spray paint, she feels the other teens at the party should already be charged.
I have kids, and my kids would have already been arrested.
A sentiment shared by many of her fellow protesters.
If it was anybody from the other side of this rock, we'd already be in jail.
So why not use the footage now and make an arrest?
Glenn County Police Chief O'Neil Jackson was there to hear the calls for arrests. However, he watched from afar, surrounded by several of his officers, without addressing the crowd directly. Jackson urged the community for patience during a news briefing last week.
If we could just make a case off of one single photo or one single video without getting any other type of evidence, then that would not be that would not be a thorough investigation.
While they have to wait longer.
What if y'all just lock him up for the picture that you saw? Because obviously you know that he went to the hospital. You know the 3 guys that took him to the hospital. So charge those little freaks. Charge the 3 that you already have their names for. And then build your case. That's just me. I don't think that they should be out just hanging out, destroying evidence or whatever's at their house or whatever they're doing, getting their stories together. You know, Trent couldn't get his story together. He didn't have time to do that. That poor guy.
For charges, the protesters can rally their support behind Lehrkamp and his battle to recover since getting dropped off at the hospital with a blood alcohol level of 0.464 and a lung infection. He moved out of the ICU last week.
I just hope you're going to be okay, man. We know you are because you got a community behind you, but we hope you feel the love. We will be here again and again and again until justice is served for this boy.
In St. Simons Island, Zach Wilcox, First Coast News, on your side.
Trent.
It's amazing what those people are doing for him, you know? It's insane. I don't understand how people do this to other people. I really don't. And I don't understand why you can't just throw these kids in JDC. I swear when I was a teenager, I remember, I never got in trouble. And I'll tell you the truth, I never did. I never got in trouble. I was good when I was in high school. I was sneaky or something. But I never got in trouble. But I knew kids that went to JDC over things that weren't even near like this. You know what I mean? They took the car ride for like a joyride or something. Nothing like this. And they would go to JDC. I just don't understand. Why not charge the parents? Whose house were they at? Okay, well then the parents get charged. You already know whose house it was at. I'm sure Trent can point it out to you now. You know what I'm saying? My last one is stuck on a bridge. That's funny. Summer, you might like that though sometimes. Yeah, Georgia better hammer down the law, Teresa, or we're going to have to send him down to Florida. Yeah, I think the parents should be charged. I think the kids should be charged. I mean, I have never seen or heard anything of like this, of this caliber. Let's see here. Okay, so this is a newer one here. Because Trent, and I'll play you the message too. Trent does come out and has a message, and I think I played it on the live the other night. But if you weren't here on the live, it wasn't a Trent live, but we just happened to be talking about it at the end of the live, you know, so we put that in there. So I feel, Tony, I agree. I think that he remembers more than what, like, it's not like a car accident where it's trauma. I mean, trauma is trauma though. Maybe his brain did shut down but can you imagine being on Could you, okay, let's take the alcohol out of it. Could you imagine being on an or on a psychedelic? The first thing that anyone ever tells you when you take a psychedelic is make sure that your environment around you is peaceful and happy, that you are in a good environment. Peaceful, happy, people are taking care of you if you freak out, those type of things. Anyway, that's been my experience anytime anyone's ever offered me mushrooms before, because I'm all like, no, because I have anxiety so bad. I'm always afraid that I would be like freaking out. So, but my friends are like, no, but if your first thing first, you know, is if like, you know, just make sure you're in a good group. And so he was in hell. Oh my God, hell on earth. I didn't even think of it like that. And then the psychedelics and oh my Lord. His brain is not, I mean, like when he talks, he's a lot better like than I would be. You know what I mean? We'll listen to the message again too. I cried when I heard it the first time. I didn't even care if I was on live or not. It was sad when I heard his voice because we hadn't heard from him. So, you know. Oh, thank you, Parker, for gifting a membership. I never can see him unless I'm like on the iPad. It never shows me up here. StreamYard's funky. It really is funky. So this one's a little bit newer here, and this is from I think this is more of their local news.
Our top story tonight, brand new exclusive details in the story of 19-year-old Trent Lehrkamp. His family tells us Trent is now recovering at an out-of-state treatment center. The St. Simons Island teenager attacked 3 times, the latest last week. The teens being questioned by police are the ones Trent considered his only friends. Here's lead investigative reporter Brett Buffington with an exclusive message from Trent himself tonight.
Hey, everybody.
For the first time since we heard his story, we are hearing from Trent.
Thank you for all the wishes, support, and caring. I'm alive and doing well.
After days in this Georgia hospital, a visit that started on a ventilator, Trent has been discharged.
Just know it's going to be a long time for me to get over this through the trauma. But one day, hopefully within the next few months or so, I might be back.
This family today telling me Trent is supporting the Glenn County Police investigation of the attacks he went through, saying Trent is a kind and loving person who was taken advantage of. This photo was taken Saturday of Trent heading to an out-of-state care center as he continues to deal with the understandable emotional damage.
Okay, can we just appreciate this picture for a minute? Look at how good he looks. Oh my Lord, have mercy. My Lord. How does he look so good? Dear God, that's what it is. My Lord. His mama was looking after him. Can't tell me no different. Can't tell me no different. His mama was saying it was not his time. It was not his time. Now the emotional stress, I hope that for his sake, that trauma kicked in and it shut his brain down to where he don't remember a lot of it. I hope he remembers the pieces he needs to. And I hope that his GoFundMe, I forget how much it's raised, but it's raised a good amount. And I hope that he doesn't have to spend any of that money on doctor's bills. He shouldn't have to. He shouldn't have to. Because it sucks to say it, but the Attorney General, when you try to go get like a victim's compensation, they don't like to give it to people. They don't. They didn't give me squat. They didn't even give me, like, they're supposed to at least give you the minimum of like when they like cut your clothes off and they do those type of things, like they would have to do to him as well. And they wouldn't even like pay out for that in Ohio. So hopefully Georgia laws are a little better and they treat him like, you know, he's good. I don't think he does. No, not really. Maybe it's the hat. He's a handsome boy. It's a $50K, you think? I hope that he gets to take that money and just rebuild his life, you know? He's adorable. Oh, man. That must be his sister. So happy to see him. Or his friend. I'm not sure, but I think it's his sister. I don't know. It doesn't really look like him, though, does it?
Trent ended his short message with a strong promise.
But justice will be served.
Police in Glenn County continue their investigation. Now, 12 days later, no one has been arrested. Brett Buffington, WS.
Now, I wonder if when he said, you know, it's going to take time for him to get better, and they sent him to out of state to get better. I'm wondering if they did that for his safety or if that was just where the best hospital was to treat him. And I'm pretty sure it's probably just where the best hospital was to treat him. Because I think that if he had to be treated, if he could be treated anywhere else, like they would just have officers watch him. That's what they would just do. He exasperated, I can't even say that word that very well, but in his lungs. And so he couldn't even breathe. I think one of his lungs wasn't working very well. And I can relate to that. That's the worst feeling in the world, the feeling that you can't breathe. And so just the things that he had to gone through, it's so sad. He is handsome, yeah. 83 days to Idaho pretrial. Yeah, and his family's even nice. It's like, well, what? Like, you know what I mean? It's like you got this really good family over here, and then you got all these shitty ass families over here. And I should go down there and arrest them myself. Act like I'm the citizen's arrest or something. If you guys don't mind, if I haven't asked you guys yet to hit the thumbs up, that really does help. Let me see here. Yeah, I thought about doing like a Brian Walsh live, but I'm debating on it. Because he did get indicted for his wife's murder as well, which, I mean, he should have. We know who did it. But Nancy Grace did a podcast over, I think it's on Fox Nation too, so she might have a video. But she did something over him and his Google searches. And I'm like, oh, that's probably funny. The guys that took him to the hospital, were they involved in the torture? I think so, yeah, Norma. I'm pretty sure they were because they dumped him off. They were like, can we leave now? Like, is he cool? We're going to go. Like, why didn't they call the ambulance? What were they trying to hide? The alcohol? It had to be more than alcohol, more than the magic mushrooms. You could flush that down the toilet. There's got to be a bigger reason why you didn't call 911 and you lifted that heavy kid up. Because Trent, I'm going to show you. He is a big boy. Dead weight. How did those skinny ass punks, I mean, and I'm going to call him that. I'm going to share this time. I don't even want to show him, but I'm just sharing this because the boys. Look at how small them boys are. And then look at how big Trent is. Did it take all four of them? Did they drag him? Did a parent help? I want to know it all. Did they get a damn wheelbarrow? You know what I mean? It looks like, let me look at that picture again. That picture of him, that looks like it's down in a basement to me. I mean, I could be wrong, but it looks like it's down in a basement. So how did they get him upstairs? How did they get him to the car? It's just, he's solid. That would be so hard to do. I'm just wondering what happened to this poor kid. We're gonna figure it out. He's gonna figure it out if not. And then when he so he's gone out of state to go for rehab. I wonder if he had thought like he wasn't gonna have to do rehab. I wonder when he woke up, he thought, oh, I'm better now and I get to go home. Because that happened to me. I thought I was going home, like right after I got in the hospital. I thought I was better than what I was. And I was like, I'm going home. And I didn't. And it was hard to hear. But I'm so thankful that I had that rehab now. So if you're hearing this, Trent, and you're going through some hard times, dude, it's okay. Go through the rehab. The rehab's there for you. The rehab's there to get people better. I didn't like that. I hated the rehab at first. It took me a couple of days to warm up. But that's all. But I just keep thinking about him. Yeah, I heard that, Summer, and I heard that one of them owns like a craft or what is it called? Like a hardware store. They had someone on Reddit. It was too small though to really read, but it had their parents' names and where they worked.
For the first time, we are hearing directly from the 19-year-old who survived a horrific attack in Georgia. His family calling some of the acts posted on social media torture. News Nation obtaining the exclusive audio message tonight and new information. The teen has been discharged from the hospital. He's now receiving care at an out-of-state treatment center. Well, it has been 12 days and still no arrests. He was hosed with water, bound in a chair, covered in spray paint, and then dropped off by teens at the hospital where he entered the ICU. Brett Buffington with our News Nation affiliate in Georgia has the message Trent is sending tonight.
Hey, everybody.
For the first time since we heard his story, we are hearing from Trent.
Thank you for all the wishful support and caring. I'm alive and doing well.
After days in this Georgia hospital, a visit that started on a ventilator, Trent has been discharged.
Just know it's going to be a long time for me to get over this through the trauma. But one day, hopefully within the next few months or so, I might be back.
This family today telling me Trent is supporting the Glenn County Police investigation of the attacks he went through, saying Trent is a kind and loving person who was taken advantage of. This photo was taken Saturday of Trent heading to an out-of-state care center as he continues to deal with the understandable emotional damage. Trent ended his short message with a strong promise.
But justice will be served.
Police in Glenn County continue their investigation. Now, 12 days later, no one has been arrested. Brett Buffington reporting for News Nation.
Yeah, we thank Brett for that. I want to bring in former FBI Special Agent and News Nation Law and Justice contributor Jennifer Coffendorfer to talk more about this case. And Jennifer, it is such a tough story. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Natasha.
Jennifer, can you help us understand? I mean, 12 days out, as Brett was just saying, the community there, they're pointing to these images and video on social media. They are saying that this is all the evidence you need to move forward. And investigators say they have successfully identified all of the minors in the images. So why have no arrests been made?
Well, it's certainly very frustrating, especially in a case like this that is clearly caught on video where we can see what happened. And they are just trying to cross all their T's and dot their I's. They have sort of one shot at this apple like we all do when it comes to this kind of a case. And they want to make sure they get everyone involved and that they have all the charges lined out as to what role each person took.
How will the fact that the suspected attackers are all under 18 likely affect the outcome of this case?
Well, that unfortunately usually causes lesser charges and less time for these offenders. And that's really unfortunate because when you look at this, this is such a sadistic act. And people who are capable of committing crimes like this as juveniles are capable as adults.
That's a really important insight. And you know, when this was first reported, this was described as a couple of hazing incidents. Trent's father is giving more details. He says his son was covered in WD-40, vomit, paint, glue, egg yolks, and spray paint, that he needed stitches. Investigators say that Trent was also force-fed alcohol. You know, when he was dropped off at the hospital, his blood alcohol level was nearly 6 times the legal limit. He had to be placed on a ventilator. He couldn't breathe on his own. Does this sound like hazing to you? Does that adequately encapsulate this? And does the wording matter as this case goes forward?
No, hazing does not encapsulate this. This is clearly an assault. This is also possibly an attempted murder. I mean, from the standpoint of what they did to him caused him to be on a ventilator. He had 6 times the blood alcohol level, and this could have led to his death. In fact, if it would have led to his death, we'd be having that conversation right now. So I see more severe charges that could be charged. Whether they will be or not, you know, we will have to wait and see.
And we know the FBI is now involved in this case as well. We are also tracking police executing a search warrant for the house where the attack allegedly took place. Do you think the owner of that house could also face charges?
Well, I think the owner possibly could, depending on what they knew. Also, whoever provided the alcohol. These are underage individuals. How did they have this alcohol at their hands to use really as a weapon against this individual? So I think possibly individuals who aren't minors could be culpable.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
Well, I think that's a fantastic idea, Jennifer Coffendorfer. Arrest them all. All of them. It did take years in that Delphi case. That was 5 long years. And he'll be going to court in June also. Is it still the 15th? June 15th, June 16th? Because that's what I have. I think that's when he's going. That's when he better be going. Because we got things to do the 26th through the 30th. Brian Kohlberger. What else was I going to tell you guys? Oh, yeah. So, you know how they said it's been, Jennifer Coffendorfer, I don't agree with this part. She said these things, they're crossing their T's, dotting their I's. I hate when cops say that. We're getting our ducks in a row. I hate that saying. So, I really do. Because I had a cop tell me that one time. And he didn't get his ducks in a row. Let me tell you that. So, it's been 13 days since this assault happened. 2 weeks. What else do y'all freaking need? Like, really, y'all? I mean, like, what else do you need? I mean, if you need DNA, you should have already be able to get a search warrant and grab that. Those should have already came back from the lab. It's been a couple weeks. Like, what's taking so long? I don't understand that. I mean, the kid woke up and said, eeny, meeny, miny, and mo did this to me. I'm sure he said that. I'm sure he's not going, yeah, no one did this to me. I did this to myself. Oh, that picture? No, I snapped that. Yeah, on my selfie stick. Like, I just don't understand it. Teresa ducks. That's so funny because those are the ducks that we have where we live. Little mallards. They're my friends too. When the dogs aren't trying to chase after them. And then I wanted to show you Brett Buffington because he's been doing a lot on this case. Let's see. There was a part that I wanted to show you guys. Some people have been giving him like a really hard time. Okay, so right here is like, it says clarifying the Glenn County Police Chief said there were 10 calls over the last 7 months at the home where at least one of the attacks happened. Police records given to us today only show 2. So where are the other 8? And were they calls and then they didn't need an officer to come out? So they said, JK, don't need you anymore 8 different times and they allowed that to happen? Or I just don't understand why they're not in there. Yeah, I don't know why they're not in jail. I don't know why nothing's going on. I mean, that's crazy. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. His parents are better than my parents would be. My dad would have their heads on a stick, and I'm not even exaggerating that. My dad would be in prison because if I was messed up like that and it was 2 weeks and the police still hadn't done anything yet, whew, my dad was a baddie though. He didn't care. He didn't care. He was as small as me, but he was mighty. And I was his only child. So you know how that goes. He would have already been over there handling business. I'm glad that his dad's not. I'm glad that his dad's not doing that. That's the one good thing. That's the good thing about his dad and not mine, because my dad would be in jail right now. And then what else? There was something I wanted to show you on here specifically, but there's a justice for Trent rally. Yeah, so March 30th right here. I'll play this for you. 9 days after no arrest.
Today on St. Simon's Island, we spotted GBI agents, Glenn County police officers, and others going in to this building. It's next to the park where a Justice for Trent Lehrkamp rally will happen this weekend. The woman behind the rally, who rallied hundreds of people to this prayer vigil earlier this week, is still disappointed that police have not made an arrest.
There weren't really many questions answered.
Thea Brooks watched yesterday's press conference, surprised to hear this part.
We've only got time for 2 more questions. He's a busy man and we've got to go.
Now she is wondering what police are doing, especially when we told her neighbors next to the home where at least one of the attacks happened.
I forgot about that. Remember that? When the chief, his little sidekick secretary was like, we'll take 2 more questions. And then he has to go because he's a busy man. You don't ever want to hear that he's a busy man, so he can't answer your questions from a police chief. You don't ever want to hear that. Just like you don't want to hear Letitia Stout defense say, I'm running out of steam on the opening statements. Those are 2 things you just don't want to hear in life. But yeah, I had my headphones in during that press conference. I wasn't going to miss those little questions because when they ask the questions you can't ever hear. I was over here listening for all of us. I was writing down so much stuff.
Told us they haven't heard from Glenn County Police.
Wow. Interesting.
The police chief said officers had been to this home at least 10 times since last August, but a request for dispatch records by the WSAV investigative unit for this address and every other home on this street for the last year only shows police had 2 calls. Someone hung up on 911 in November, and another reported secondhand information after the latest attack.
I don't know much about the new chief interim. However, I can tell you that when your secretary or whomever she is says publicly that you're too busy to answer questions, then that makes me question, what do you have time for?
The principal at Glenn Academy yesterday posted on Facebook that he wanted students at the school tomorrow to wear red. He said it was to show support for the school community, but at that school, at least some of the teenagers being questioned by police in this case are or were students.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Why are they still in the school? Have them wear red too. Make sure y'all wear red for Trent, because it's going to be Trent Day. What the fuck? Are you kidding? That school needs to expel those students. Is there a petition going on for that yet? Because, hello, so they could be in the school at the same time that they're celebrating Trent for this rally. Those kids are going to be wearing their red, blending on in with the rest of the group, or maybe they'll wear all black, want to stand out because they think that they're getting away with it. But that's insane. My lordy. I don't think I could be a news person. I would get too invested and too heated. But that is crazy. See, yeah, Amanda, that's what me and Summer and a lot of people in the chat, we've all heard that too. That one of the sons is Ellie's law enforcement. So something's going on, especially when that chief of police was his secretary. He's a busy man. Apparently they didn't send her to a school on how to talk to people, like a crowd. Don't ever let her come in again into the crowd there. There was something, oh, I went back too far. I wanted to show you something else on here. There was this here. So, this is from Dustin A. Lewis. It says, Brett Buffington, I have attached one of your posts that you're going to wish you never wrote. I'm pretty sure that any of your posts are public domain, whether you're doing it under your personal account or as a public personality account. Okay, we don't need all that. The problem I have is that I find the National Enquirer to be a better news source than the nonsense that you've been reporting on since you arrived to Glenn County to cover this story. Mind you, the people that he gets his resources from, like the people that are his people, is the chief of police and Trent's family. So, he says, everything you've posted on Facebook has been purely hearsay and inaccurate innuendo. You should be fired from WSAV in the least, and you should be held personally responsible, liable for anything that happens to Trent Lehrkamp and any and all of the individuals and families affected by your comments and actions since arriving to cover this story. Like, really? If it wasn't for Brent Buffington, this story wouldn't even be out there. He really is the one that brought this to light. Oh, you can send cards? Oh. I'll put that up on the screen in case someone doesn't see it. I forgot to put my banner on today, but that's okay. I think I'm about done anyway. But yeah, can you believe that? They're just... These people are out of control. They're out of control. So, Brett said, update. Now they want me fired and all I've been reporting is hearsay. Well, Dustin, we've got strong sources, including the police and Trent's family. I tried to talk to the parents of the kids involved. They didn't want to talk to me. See you on Monday, Brunswick. And then April 3rd, it says, the chief of police here. Oh, yeah. There was a couple things that, there was one other thing that really pissed me off that the chief said. So let me read this. This isn't it, but I'll find it. It says the chief of police here in Glenn County tells me there will be an update in the investigation sent out later today, but he says it won't be significant. I asked him if we could expect an arrest this week, and he said, I'm not going to put a time frame on it. Okay. This is what pissed me off to no other. So let me see if I can get this blown up for you, because this is just, I don't even know if I can. I can't. No, I'll just read it to you. It says, latest update from Glenn County Police. No evidence that Trent was forced to digest battery acid. Okay. Whatever. We don't know about that, but no evidence Trent was defecated on. Do I need to show the picture again? Because then what's that in his lap? He's not autistic. Great. I hope he's not. I hope I hope that's true. Doesn't have a learning disability, and no one being questioned is related to a Glenn County police officer. That's what Glenn County Police said, but we don't know. I thought it was over 100,000. Wow. I thought that, but man, wow, good for him. I hope he better not. Don't you pay one medical bill with that, Trent? If they do not pay your medical, I swear, if they don't, I will be so upset for you. But if they don't, send them $5. If they reject your payment, then you don't have to pay the bill. That's what my mom used to tell me back in the day. I don't know if that's still true, but don't spend that money on hospital bills when he has to build a life for himself, I know. I think that we should send him cards. Man, I have so many cards here too. I wish you guys all lived closer. I've got like a box of cards. I don't know why I buy so many cards. Like, I just do. Yeah, this one might be a civil suit. And you know what? I hope it's both. I hope it's both. I think that was the latest though on it. It just says that the investigation continues. And then this is the one that, that's just the one that he was talking. We had already heard that. And that's him and his dad hugging. And oh my lordy. That's just so sweet. And he does have a Murphy dog. That picture, yeah. And I wish that News Nation would stop putting it on their, like on there, you know, like especially now that he's not in a coma or anymore, you know what I mean? Like I hate showing it to begin with, but you know, he's going to be in the hospital now. He might put the TV on. He might like turn the TV on for a minute, you know? You don't want him to like be seeing that. You know, you want him to see like pictures of them guys that did this to them. They should be blasted everywhere. And you know that house probably had video cameras. You know they probably did. Yeah, there was a lot of people there that night. I heard that there was 9 people on like the first attack and up to 11 people on the second. But there's only 4 that's listed in the picture. So that's why at the beginning of the live, I said 4 to 11 because I've heard anywhere between 4 and 11. Yeah, positive attitude. Yeah, it's going to go a long way, Tony, for him. It will help you heal. It really will. I feel so awful. I couldn't imagine. Like, you know, being bullied in school, like you think of just like little things here and there. You don't think of this. Like, this is insane. I burnt my arm. I look like I've got like, that looks terrible. I burnt my arm with a curling wand. I burnt it there too. Man, my arm looks terrible. Sorry, guys. I'm like, geez, Louise, your girl needs a tan. That's what I need. So I think that's all I got for you guys for today. I'm thinking that maybe I'll do a live either tonight or tomorrow night. I know that, I think Letitia's still on. I think that she's still in court, isn't she? I wonder if Al's still on the stand. I think earlier they were making you pay to watch it on Law and Crime. Now, I don't know if that's 100%. I was just gonna... Yeah, she's got her head in her hands, it looks like. Let's see. Yeah, they're going through that telephone call, actually. Yeah, Al's still on the stand. Because when I came on before to do the live, they were doing an hour and 57-minute phone call. And so it's hour and 8 minutes now. So I wish I had more stuff on Trent, but that's all I could really get together. And I wanted to, you know, get his name out there again and make sure the people that he knows that we care. Maybe he'll be on YouTube. When I was in the hospital, I watched Orange is the New Black. I watched like 2 episodes. That was really it. And then I didn't watch anything else. I didn't watch TV when I was in the hospital. I just was busy doing, they had your day planned out. And it was really nice. I'm not going to lie about that part. It was very nice because it was like a schedule. And it was, you know, it kept you, when your mind wants to go to like everything that it shouldn't, it keeps you kind of centered. And so that'll be good for him too. And he'll be able to have visitors. Like when I was in a rehab center, I could have visitors like the whole day pretty much. Like they weren't going to tell someone no. Like if they wanted to come in and watch me do whatever. So I hope we get to see some videos of his recovery that way. You got an eye appointment tomorrow, Isabel? Oh, the drops might make your eyes blurry. Oh yeah, no. Make sure you're okay to drive and everything. Don't be driving around with your eyes blurry. Yeah, on the Law Channel. That's where, yeah, it was actually on there. Well, actually, I think it was on someone else's, but yeah, I was on someone else's, I think. Wow, everyone's going on trial. Fred, that's funny. Oh man. With a large bodyguard. See, the worst I had was this little girl, and I thought this was terrible. My hair's pretty long, but it used to be even longer, and I had more of it seemed like then, but I would always wear it in a ponytail, and I went to a new school starting in 4th grade, and I remember this girl, she was the head of cheerleading, and she was supposed to be the super pretty one, which I guess, I don't know. Like, she was completely different than me. Like, our cheerleaders at my school, they were shorter and like chunkier. And I've always been like tall and just like a toothpick, other than now I'm not anymore. When I hit my 30s, that went out the window. But I was always way too small. So we were kind of like different. But she would pull my hair tie out of my hair. I would always wear my hair up. And that was like her thing, like on the school bus on the way home. And she was in 6th grade. I was in 4th grade. And I didn't realize it at the time. But I guess her little boyfriend liked me. Yeah, didn't know that until like 9th grade. She picked on me for a long time though. And then she tried to be nice to me later on. That's usually how it goes. I'm like, I'm cool now. I'm cool. But yeah, I remember going home and like crying about it. I was so sad about that. Like that was like, and she just took the hair tie out of my hair. It was like nothing like big, but it was traumatic for me at 4th grade, I guess. The day bell. Well, they had a picture of her and she was taking notes. They said feverishly taking notes yesterday and listening. Oh, they were on their flight. So are they allowed to go in, Teresa? Did they get the okay? Did Kay and Larry get the okay? Oh, I hope so. Because I'd really like to smash a TV when I hear that they couldn't go in there. I don't know why I say smash TV, but like I've smashed one before. But you know what I mean? It's like really makes me upset when people can't get their justice. Larry and Kay deserve justice as much as I feel like, as you know, just as much as anybody. If it wasn't for Larry and Kay, they may have never known about JJ being missing. And if they did, they wouldn't have known as fast. So I hope that they're allowed to go in. Because that would make me so sad. Gets me fired up. They're good people. You always notice this is stuff that always happens to really good people. Oh, you don't know yet? They were taking off on the flight this morning. Oh, I hope they can go. I'm fired up. I'm ready for them to be in there. I don't think she will be acting like, I don't think she'll be acting so positive. On the Dylan Brown case, nothing new other than they arrested Brian Brenner. But I did do a video on that. And then his parents came out and did an interview. And they're suspecting, like, still, like, he took stuff off the property that day when all the cops were there watching him. That's where they think all the evidence pretty much went. I feel bad for his mom. And his dad. But his mom's, Candace, has been, like, she's really been fighting. She's been a crusader for her kids, so. Yeah, Lori's best friend is testifying. Yeah, testifying against her. Melanie Gibb. Too many people. It's harder. I'm surprised I can remember everybody's dang name. Because I'm really bad with names. Like, normally, I'm real bad with names. I'm surprised I get this many right. I usually write stuff down there just in case. But yeah, maybe I'll come back on later and do like a crime stories with Nancy Grace or something. I was hoping that she would have something out for Lori, but they're just doing jury selection right now. And then I want to get the calls. I want to listen to the calls from Letitia and her ex-husband, but I don't know if that one is the one for an hour and 57 minutes long. If it's a good call or not, I'll have to listen to it. No, I didn't see the one from Florida. I don't think so, Sarah Boone, yeah, she comes back July. Coming in hot again. They couldn't get an expert to come in and testify on making no money. There's 2 suitcase cases. Yes, Parker, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't do that on purpose, actually. There was just a lot of cases going on, and I was like, okay, there was like a lot. And so I picked those two, and then it's kind of just sprouted off. You know, I mean, Trent kind of came out of nowhere there, but, you know, and then the other cases kind of came out of nowhere. But for the most part, those are the two that we'll be concentrating on. And Lori, you know, Dave Belvallo, which, speaking of which, if you guys have Twitter, add me over on Twitter. My handle is @TitaniumBuilt, because I tweet out a lot more, like a lot faster than I can get stuff on, like, you know, YouTube and stuff. So if you want like up to the hour, up to the minute kind of updates on like Lori Vallow and stuff that she's doing inside the courtroom, because there's no cameras or sound. We have to kind of go by what the reporters are saying. So I'm going to go by what Brian Eaton's going to tell us. But yeah, I'll have to look at that. Oh yeah, they're all evil, I feel like. Did I miss anything? I can hear a plane going over. I thought I missed a comment, but I'm sorry. Don't do anything like that. I must put everybody in timeout. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, I was trying to read the chat. But yeah, no, that's all I have for you guys for today. If you haven't liked the video, make sure you like the video. Actually, double check, make sure everybody's subscribed. Sometimes I feel like someone was telling me the other day, like they were subscribed, and then they try to come into the chat and like chat, and then it said she wasn't subscribed, so she had to go back and resubscribe. So just double check, make sure your notifications are on if you want to be alerted to the new videos. And I will see you guys all in the next video, which will be probably either later tonight or tomorrow. Last night, I wanted to jump on a live so bad because I just wanted to talk Letitia Stouch. I just wanted to talk her case because I was like, she made me so mad. And we did the live, but then I got off and I was like, I have more stuff to say, you know? So if you see me fly back on here, that's probably why too. So I will see you guys all on the next video. Bye guys. Have a good day.